Before you leave this video, make one intention. Listen until the end with an open heart. And if these words remind you to trust Allah more, share this message with someone who is silently struggling with money. Because your financial situation can look completely stuck on the outside, while Allah is already changing things you cannot yet see. One phone call can open a door.
Hello?
One opportunity can replace months of worry. One decision can protect you from a loss. One dua can be answered in a way you never expected. Rizq does not always arrive slowly. Sometimes Allah changes a person's circumstances so suddenly that yesterday's anxiety becomes tomorrow's gratitude. But there is something important you must understand. Islam does not teach us to chase superstitious signs or believe that wealth is guaranteed because certain things happen. Your rizq has already been written by Allah. The question is whether you recognize the changes that often happen inside your heart, your habits, your decisions, and your circumstances before a difficult financial season begins to loosen its grip. Maybe you have been calculating every expense. Maybe debt has been sitting heavily on your mind. Maybe you have worked hard and still feel as though nothing is moving. Maybe you have made dua so many times that part of you has started wondering, when will Allah open a door for me? Do not confuse delay with abandonment. The same Allah who provided for you when you had nothing is still your provider today. The same Allah who brings rain from a sky that looked empty can bring provision from a direction you never calculated. And sometimes, before your money changes, Allah changes you. He changes the way you think. He removes desperation from your heart. He exposes harmful habits. He pushes you toward better decisions. He closes doors that were draining your life. He teaches you to depend less on people and more on Him. Then, when the door finally opens, you realize the breakthrough did not begin when the money arrived. It began much earlier. So if your financial struggle has exhausted you, pay close attention. These are not promises of instant wealth. They are powerful reminders of the changes that can accompany a new season of rizq, barakah, discipline, and relief. And the first sign may already be happening in your life without you realizing it. 1. Your heart stops believing that people control your rizq. One of the biggest changes that can happen during financial hardship is this. You slowly stop believing that people are the owners of your future. At first, money problems can make you feel small. You may begin looking at certain people as if your entire life depends on them. A boss, a client, a relative, a business partner, a person who owes you money, someone who promised to help you, someone with connections, someone who can approve something, someone who can reject something. You may begin thinking, if this person says no, everything is finished. That thought is dangerous because it gives a human being a place in your heart that belongs only to Allah. Human beings can be means. They can help you. They can recommend you. They can hire you. They can buy from you. They can lend to you. They can introduce you to an opportunity. But they do not own your rizq. If Allah has written provision for you, no human being can erase what Allah has written. And if a door closes, Allah is not limited to that door. This is where tawakkul becomes real. Tawakkul is not sitting at home and saying, Allah will provide, while refusing to work. Tawakkul is not laziness dressed in religious language. Tawakkul means you take the means seriously, but you never worship the means in your heart. You send the application, but your heart is attached to Allah. You call the client, but your heart is attached to Allah. You learn the skill, improve your work, reduce waste, seek advice, and make a plan, but your heart understands that results are ultimately in Allah's hands. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught the meaning of this balance through the example of the birds. They leave in the morning hungry and return with their stomachs full. Notice what the bird does not do. It does not remain in the nest waiting for food to fall from the sky. It goes out, it moves, it searches, it takes the means available to it. But its provision is from Allah. Financial fear becomes destructive when you believe that one person, one company, one customer, one platform, one market, or one source of income is your provider. That belief creates panic, and panic makes people do foolish things. They accept humiliation they should not accept. They compromise their values. They lie. They flatter people excessively. They tolerate abuse. They enter haram transactions. They take money they know is doubtful. They betray someone. They hide defects in what they sell. They manipulate others because they are terrified that if this one door closes, they will have nothing. But when tawakkul grows, your behavior changes. You become calmer in your decisions. You still care about income because responsibilities are real. You still work hard. You still negotiate. You still pursue opportunities. But you stop acting as if a human being holds the keys to your destiny. This inner shift can be one of the strongest signs that your financial struggle is producing something valuable in you. There is another test hidden here. Sometimes Allah allows the person you depended on to disappoint you, not because every disappointment is a divine message we can decode, but because it reveals where your heart had become too attached. A client leaves. A relative changes their mind. A promise is withdrawn. A contract does not happen. At first you think the loss of that person means the loss of your future. Then weeks or months later, you discover that you survived. You found another way. You learned something new. You met someone else. You reduced an expense. You became more capable. And suddenly you understand that the person was never the source. This realization gives you dignity without making you proud. You can still ask people respectfully. You can still network, negotiate, seek help, and build relationships. Islam does not teach social isolation, but there is a difference between using a means and emotionally worshipping a means. When you use a means, you can thank it and release it. When you worship a means, you become terrified of losing it. That fear can even enter employment. A person may know they are being asked to lie, manipulate, or participate in something wrong, but they tell themselves, "I cannot say anything because I need this salary." Needing a salary is real. Responsibilities are real. You should not make reckless decisions that harm your dependents. But neither should you train your heart to believe disobedience is the only way Allah can feed you. Seek a lawful exit, prepare carefully, build alternatives, ask knowledgeable people, and remember that obeying Allah is not the enemy of provision. Perhaps before the hardship, you believed too much in your own plan. Perhaps you believed your salary was secure because you were talented. Perhaps you believed your business was safe because customers kept coming. Perhaps you believed your savings made you untouchable. Then something changed, and suddenly you saw how fragile worldly security can be. That realization can frighten you, or it can wake you up, because the believer's real security was never meant to be in the numbers alone. Numbers matter, budgets matter, savings matter, planning matters, but none of them are Allah. When Allah removes your false sense of control, He may be teaching you a level of dependence that comfort never taught you. You begin saying from the heart, "My Lord, I will do what I can, but you are the one who opens doors. You are the one who places acceptance in people's hearts. You are the one who sends customers. You are the one who gives health to work. You are the one who protects what I earn. You are the one who can replace what I lose. You are the one who can create a way where I see no way." That does not make you passive. It makes you stronger. A person who believes people control their rizq is easy to control. A person who knows Allah controls their rizq can remain principled even under pressure. This does not mean becoming arrogant or disrespectful. It means refusing to sell your dignity and faith because of fear. Sometimes the end of a money struggle begins before any money arrives. It begins when fear stops ruling your decisions. Ask yourself honestly, who do I secretly believe controls my provision? Whose rejection frightens me more than it should? Whose approval am I chasing as if Allah cannot send me another path? What compromise am I tempted to make because I think I have no other option? These questions are uncomfortable, but they reveal what is happening inside your heart. If hardship is teaching you to rely more deeply on Allah while becoming more responsible in your effort, something important is changing. And that change is worth more than temporary relief, because once you understand the source of risk, you can face both abundance and difficulty without losing yourself. 2. You begin cleaning your income instead of just increasing it. When people are under financial pressure, the first question is usually, how can I make more money? It is a reasonable question. If your income is not meeting your basic needs, you need solutions. But Islam teaches you to ask another question that is even more important. Is the money I am earning clean? Because not every increase is a blessing. A person can receive more money and lose barakah. A person can earn quickly and become spiritually poorer. A person can appear successful while their income is built on deception, exploitation, interest, bribery, fraud, broken promises, or taking what does not belong to them. If your financial struggle pushes you to examine your income with greater honesty, that is not a small thing. Sometimes Allah allows discomfort to expose what comfort was hiding. You may begin noticing that you have been careless about debts. Perhaps you delay repayment even when you are able. Perhaps you borrowed and stopped communicating. Perhaps you took someone's money and keep telling yourself you will fix it later. Perhaps you sell something and exaggerate its quality. Perhaps you hide a defect. Perhaps you underpay someone because you know they are desperate. Perhaps you waste company time while expecting full compensation. Perhaps you use business practices that you know are questionable, but you avoid asking because you are afraid of the answer. Financial difficulty is not automatically caused by sin. That would be an irresponsible claim. Good people can face severe hardship, but sin can remove barakah, damage relationships, destroy trust, and create consequences that look like financial bad luck when they are actually the result of our choices. So one of the strongest responses to financial pressure is not superstition, it is muhasabah, honest self-accounting. Look at your money. Where does it come from? Where does it go? What promises have you made? What rights of others are attached to what you have? Are you paying people fairly? Are you honest in your work? Are you involved in something you know is haram or clearly doubtful? Are you trying to solve a money problem with a method that may create a bigger spiritual problem? These questions matter because a believer does not only want more. A believer wants halal and blessed provision. There are times when leaving a questionable source of money feels terrifying. You may think, if I stop this, what will happen to me? But that fear is exactly where faith is tested. You cannot ask Allah to bless what He prohibited and then wonder why your heart never feels settled. If you know something is clearly haram, the answer is not to become more creative in justifying it. The answer is to find a lawful path out of it as responsibly as you can. And if you are unsure about a specific financial product, contract, debt arrangement, business model, or investment, ask a qualified scholar who understands the issue. Do not build your religious decisions on random clips, comments, or what is convenient for you. There is another side to clean income, fulfilling rights. There is also a form of financial cleansing that almost nobody likes discussing, admitting when your lifestyle is partly funded by money you do not truly have. Debt can be necessary in some circumstances, and not every person in debt was irresponsible. Medical needs, family crises, unemployment, business losses, and emergencies can put good people under enormous pressure. But sometimes debt is also the result of repeated choices made to maintain an image. If you are borrowing for things that are not necessary, borrowing to impress people, borrowing because you refuse to reduce your lifestyle, or moving from one loan to another without confronting the pattern, then increased income alone may not rescue you. The behavior has to change. Financial repentance can look very practical. It can mean writing down every debt instead of avoiding the numbers. It can mean contacting creditors. It can mean selling something you can no longer justify keeping. It can mean canceling subscriptions, delaying upgrades, refusing a social expense, or having an uncomfortable conversation with your family about what you can actually afford. None of this feels glamorous, but financial stability is often built through unglamorous decisions, repeated consistently. Do not confuse embarrassment with harm. Sometimes your ego will tell you that reducing your lifestyle is humiliating. It is not. Living beyond your means to protect an image can be far more humiliating in the long run. There is dignity in facing reality. There is dignity in saying, "This is what I can afford." There is dignity in rebuilding slowly with halal money. Some people ask Allah for expansion while holding money that belongs to others. A worker is waiting for payment. A relative is waiting for repayment. A business partner is waiting for an honest accounting. A customer was promised a refund. Someone was overcharged. Someone's share was ignored. And the person keeps making dua for more rizq while refusing to clean up what is already in their hands. If this is you, do not become defensive. Fix what you can. Sometimes one of the first doors to financial relief is restoring justice in your financial life. Return what belongs to people. Communicate honestly. If you cannot pay a debt fully, do not disappear. Speak to the person. Make a realistic plan. Pay what you can. Show seriousness. Ask Allah for help and behave like someone who truly intends to fulfill their obligation. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught the seriousness of debts and the importance of intending repayment. A believer should not treat other people's money casually. And then there is honesty in earning. Maybe your hardship is pushing you to become better at what you do. You stop looking for shortcuts and start becoming trustworthy. You improve your service. You become punctual. You communicate clearly. You stop making promises you cannot keep. You learn to say, "I do not know." You deliver what you said you would deliver. You stop chasing quick money and start building a reputation. That kind of change can transform your rizq over time because trust has economic value. People return to those they trust. They recommend those they trust. They hire those they trust. They give responsibility to those they trust. And even if the worldly result is delayed, honesty protects your akhirah. Never underestimate what it means when you begin wanting clean money more than fast money. That is a sign your relationship with rizq is maturing. You are no longer asking only, "How much can I get?" You are asking, "Can I stand before Allah with how I got it?" And when that question becomes important to you, your financial life is already changing in the deepest way. 3. You start seeing barakah as part of wealth. Many people think financial relief means one thing: more income. Sometimes that is exactly what you need. If your essential costs are higher than what you earn, increasing income matters. Islam does not teach us to pretend numbers are irrelevant, but there is a hidden part of rizq that cannot be understood by numbers alone. That is barakah. Barakah is when Allah places goodness, benefit, sufficiency, and lasting value in what you have. Two people can earn the same amount and live completely different realities. One person earns well but is constantly hit by unnecessary expenses, destructive habits, poor decisions, conflict, waste, and restlessness. Money enters and disappears. Nothing feels enough. Another person earns less, yet somehow their needs are covered with greater stability. They are not living a fantasy. They still budget. They still face costs. But there is a sense of benefit in what Allah has given them. This is why the believer should not obsess over income while ignoring barakah. Sometimes your financial situation starts improving because your spending becomes wiser. You stop buying things to impress people who do not care about you. You stop treating every desire like an emergency. You stop using shopping as emotional medicine. You stop competing with people online. You stop believing that looking wealthy is the same as becoming financially stable. That shift can save more money than some income increases. There are people who receive a raise and immediately increase their lifestyle. Their income rises, but their anxiety does not. Their spending expands to consume everything. They become trapped at a higher level. Then there are people who become intentional. They know what they need. They know what they can delay. They know what they should avoid. They know that dignity does not come from brands, appearances, expensive gatherings, constant upgrades, or proving themselves through possessions. Financial relief often requires learning the difference between need, comfort, and ego. And ego is expensive. How much money do people waste because they are afraid of what others will think? A wedding becomes financially destructive because the family wants to impress people. A phone is replaced while the old one works because everyone else upgraded. Clothes are bought for an image. Debt is taken for appearances. Food is wasted at events because excess is treated like status. A car becomes a symbol of worth rather than transportation. A person who cannot afford something still buys it because they would rather suffer privately than look ordinary publicly. This is not wealth, it is slavery to perception. When Allah begins freeing you from that, your money struggle may start looking different. Perhaps your income has not changed yet, but your leakage has. Perhaps you are becoming disciplined. Perhaps you are finally tracking where your money goes. Perhaps you are paying attention to small recurring expenses that were quietly draining you. Perhaps you are learning to cook more, repair more, compare prices, avoid unnecessary debt, and plan before spending. Perhaps you are beginning to understand that every rupee, dollar, pound, or dirham you receive is an amana, a trust. This is not stinginess. Islam does not teach you to become obsessed with hoarding. It teaches balance. Spend on yourself without arrogance. Spend on your family responsibly. Give charity. Help others when you can. Enjoy what Allah has made halal, but do not waste. Barakah also appears in protection. Barakah also changes the way you think about time. A person can have money and waste entire days. Another person may have modest means but use their mornings, attention, health, and energy with purpose. Time is part of your provision because earning, learning, worship, family responsibility, and recovery all require it. If financial hardship is teaching you to stop losing hours to endless scrolling, gossip, distraction, and comparison, you may be recovering a form of wealth that never appeared on your bank statement. Ask yourself how much of your financial frustration is connected to unstructured time. How many months have passed while you kept saying you would learn that skill later? How many evenings disappeared into entertainment while you complained that there was no opportunity? Rest is necessary. Recreation is allowed. Your body and family have rights over you. But there is a difference between rest that restores you and distraction that consumes your future. Barakah can mean doing more good with the same 24 hours because your priorities become clearer. You protect your salah. You protect your sleep. You protect focused work. You make room for family. You reduce activities that create noise but no benefit. This kind of order can eventually affect income because disciplined people become more dependable, more skilled, and more capable of recognizing opportunities. Think about how much provision Allah gives you through things that never happen. An accident that does not occur. A serious illness you are protected from. A device that keeps working. A child who remains healthy. A journey completed safely. A major repair you do not need. A mistake Allah saves you from. A scam you almost fell into but avoided. A bad business deal that was closed before you lost more. You may never put these things into your income calculation, but they are part of provision. Sometimes the answer to your dua for financial ease is not only more money, it is fewer unnecessary losses. And sometimes barakah appears in contentment. Contentment does not mean you stop trying to improve your situation. It means your heart stops living in constant complaint while you work. You can want better without hating what you have. You can pursue growth without being ungrateful. You can ask Allah for expansion while recognizing what He has already provided. This protects your heart from a dangerous illusion. I will finally feel safe when I reach a certain number. The number moves. First you think you will relax when you earn one amount. Then you reach it and need more. Then more. Then more. If the heart is trained only to look upward at those who have more, enough never arrives. But when you understand barakah, you begin measuring wealth differently. Do I have halal food? Do I have a roof? Do I have people I love? Do I have health to work? Do I have time to pray? Do I have protection from humiliating dependence? Do I have enough clarity to make better decisions? Do I have a path to improve? Do I still have my faith? These things do not erase financial problems, but they stop financial problems from erasing your gratitude, and gratitude changes how you live. A grateful person tends to waste less because they value what they have. A grateful person notices opportunities because their mind is not completely consumed by complaint. A grateful person can think more clearly because panic is not controlling every decision. So if you are beginning to appreciate barakah, discipline, protection, and sufficiency as part of wealth, pay attention. Your money struggle may not be over yet, but your understanding of wealth is becoming stronger, and a stronger understanding often leads to stronger decisions. 4. Your dua becomes deeper, but your effort becomes stronger too. One of the clearest signs of spiritual maturity is when dua and effort stop competing with each other. Some people make dua but do not move. Others move constantly but rarely make dua. The believer learns to do both. When financial hardship becomes intense, your dua often changes. At first, you may only say, Allah, give me money. Allah, remove this problem. Allah, let this payment come. Allah, let this opportunity work. There is nothing wrong with asking Allah for specific needs. Ask Him. Ask often. Allah loves for His servants to turn to Him, but over time, your dua can become more intelligent and more complete. You begin asking for halal rizq. You ask for barakah. You ask for wisdom with money. You ask for protection from debt. You ask for the ability to fulfill your responsibilities. You ask for the right opportunity, not just any opportunity. You ask Allah to protect you from wealth that would corrupt you. You ask for contentment without laziness. You ask for ambition without greed. You ask for generosity without waste. You ask for discipline without fear. You ask for doors that bring you closer to Allah, rather than doors that pull you away from Him. That is a deeper dua. But then something else must happen. You work. You stop treating dua as a replacement for action. If you need employment, you do not send 2 applications and then declare that nothing is available. You improve your CV. You learn how hiring works. You contact people. You ask for referrals. You develop relevant skills. You prepare for interviews. You widen your search. You review what is not working. If you run a business, you do not simply ask Allah for customers while providing a poor service. You study your market. You improve your product. You fix your communication. You follow up. You learn sales. You become reliable. You understand your costs. You separate business money from personal money. You stop guessing and start measuring. If you have a skill, you improve it. If you do not have a marketable skill, you begin building one. If you keep making the same financial mistake, you stop calling it bad luck and start correcting the pattern. This is important because sometimes the answer to your dua arrives as responsibility. There is one more practical truth about effort. Activity is not the same as progress. Some people are exhausted because they are doing too many things badly. They start a new plan every week. They chase every business trend. They buy courses they never finish. They open projects they never build. They keep moving, but they are not compounding skill in any direction. Sometimes the wiser form of effort is to simplify. Choose one valuable skill and become excellent at it. Choose one business offer and improve it. Choose one debt and attack it systematically. Choose one savings target. Choose one habit that is damaging your finances and remove it. Consistency often looks boring before it becomes powerful. You may need to hear this clearly. Not every failure is a sign to quit, and not every difficulty is a sign to continue. Wisdom is learning the difference. Some things need patience, other things need correction, other things need to be abandoned. Make istikhara when appropriate. Seek advice, examine evidence, and stop romanticizing stubbornness. Sometimes Allah opens a better path only after you finally stop pouring energy into a door that has repeatedly shown you it is not viable. You ask Allah for more income, and an opportunity appears that requires you to wake earlier. You ask for a better career, and you are forced to study. You ask for business growth, and you have to become more disciplined. You ask for debt relief, and you realize you must finally cut a lifestyle you cannot afford. You ask for stability, and Allah exposes relationships or habits that keep creating chaos. People sometimes miss the answer because they expected a miracle without a process. But many miracles arrive wearing work clothes. Think about Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, when Allah commanded him to strike the sea with his staff. Allah could have split the sea without Musa moving his hand, but Allah connected divine help to an action. Think about Maryam, peace be upon her, in a state of extreme weakness, being told to shake the trunk of the palm tree so fresh dates would fall. Allah could have sent the dates without her effort, yet she was told to act. The lesson is not that human effort creates Allah's power. The lesson is that Allah often commands us to take means, even when the result ultimately comes from Him. So ask yourself, has my financial hardship made me more serious? Am I learning skills I used to postpone? Am I becoming more organized? Am I seeking knowledge instead of repeating emotional decisions? Am I asking better questions? Am I listening to advice from people who actually understand what I am trying to do? Am I willing to start smaller than my ego wants? Am I willing to do work that is halal and dignified, even if it does not impress people? Am I willing to rebuild? Sometimes financial difficulty breaks the fantasy that your life must unfold in one specific way. You thought you would earn through one profession. Another door appears. You thought one business would work. It does not, but the skills you learned help you build something better. You thought one person would help you. They disappear, but their absence forces you to develop independence. You thought your next step had to be large. Allah teaches you to begin with something small and consistent. Never despise a small halal beginning. A small income can grow. A small skill can become valuable. A small customer base can expand. A small saving habit can become security. A small side income can become a major source. A small act of discipline, repeated for years, can change your entire financial future. The problem is that many people want sudden change, but reject small beginnings. They want the result without the season that builds the capacity to hold the result. If Allah gave you a huge amount today, would your current habits protect it? Would you manage it wisely? Would you remain humble? Would you fulfill rights? Would you save responsibly? Would you spend it in halal ways? Would you remember Allah, or would the relief make you forget Him? These are serious questions. Sometimes the delay is not empty, it is preparation. That does not mean every delay is a sign that wealth is coming. We should not invent promises, but it does mean you should use the delay productively. Let your dua become stronger. Let your effort become smarter. Let your skills become sharper. Let your habits become cleaner. And then trust Allah with what you cannot control. That combination is powerful because you stop living like a victim of circumstances and start living like a servant of Allah who takes responsibility while knowing that all success is from Him. 5. You become less desperate, and that changes your decisions. Desperation is expensive. When a person becomes desperate for money, they often lose the ability to think clearly. They agree too quickly, they trust the wrong people, they enter bad deals, they borrow without a plan, they sell valuable things for far less than they are worth. They accept abusive conditions. They invest in schemes they do not understand. They believe promises that would normally sound ridiculous. Why? Because desperation tells them, this is your only chance. That sentence has destroyed many people financially. This is your only chance. You must decide now. You cannot miss this. Everyone is making money from this. Borrow first and figure it out later. Put everything into this one opportunity. Trust me. Do not ask too many questions. You will regret it if you hesitate. A believer should be very careful when pressure is being used to shut down thought. Financial hardship is difficult, but panic can make hardship worse. One of the most valuable things Allah can give you during a money struggle is sakina in your decision-making, a kind of steadiness that allows you to say, I need relief, but I will not destroy myself chasing it. Calm also changes the way you handle emergencies. Instead of treating every unexpected cost like the end of the world, you begin creating buffers. Even if the amount is small, you start saving something. You learn that an emergency fund is not a lack of tawakkul. Planning is part of taking the means. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught responsibility, foresight and care for dependents. Trusting Allah does not require you to remain financially disorganized. If you can save only a little, save a little. The habit matters. If you cannot save yet because every amount is consumed by essentials, then your immediate goal may be increasing income or reducing obligations. But know your numbers. Vagueness feeds anxiety. A written budget can be uncomfortable because it forces you to see reality, yet reality is easier to improve than a fear you refuse to measure. Write down what enters. Write down what leaves. Separate fixed obligations from flexible spending. Identify debt payments. Identify waste. Identify irregular costs that are predictable even if they are not monthly. A car repair may be irregular, but cars eventually need repair. School costs may not appear every week, but they are not surprising. Planning for predictable, irregular costs turns some emergencies into normal expenses. This may sound more like financial discipline than spirituality. That is exactly the point. Islam does not separate faith from responsible behavior. Your dua should make you more serious about your duties, not less. You begin walking away from suspicious opportunities. You stop believing every person who promises quick wealth. You stop looking for a secret trick that will solve years of financial disorder in 7 days. You stop treating social media success stories as financial education. You stop confusing confidence with competence. You ask questions. How does this actually make money? What are the risks? What happens if revenue drops? Who is responsible for losses? What is the contract? What are the fees? Is this halal? What evidence supports the claims? Can I afford to lose this amount? Why am I being rushed? What am I not being told? Those questions can save you. Desperation also affects relationships. When you are afraid, you may keep chasing people who have shown you that they do not respect you. You keep asking the same person for help, even though every interaction humiliates you. You keep waiting for someone who keeps making promises and breaking them. You keep building your future around someone else's unreliable word. At some point, Tawakkul teaches you to release people emotionally. You can ask for help. Islam does not forbid asking when there is genuine need. Community matters. Family support matters. Charity matters. Loans can be acts of kindness. But your heart should not become enslaved to a specific human being. If someone helps you, thank them and thank Allah. If they refuse, do not let the refusal become a verdict on your future. Allah has more than one door. Desperation also makes people compare themselves constantly. You see someone your age buying a house. Someone else is traveling. Someone else has a new car. Someone else posts business revenue. Someone else seems to have everything moving faster. And suddenly your own life feels like failure, but you do not know their full story. You do not know their debts. You do not know their family support. You do not know their risks. You do not know what they sacrificed. You do not know what is real and what is performance. And even if everything they show is real, their timeline is not your qadr. Comparison can make you abandon a sensible plan because it feels too slow. You start forcing outcomes. You take risks that do not suit your situation. You spend money to appear successful instead of becoming stable. You chase whatever is trending instead of building something you understand. This is why contentment and ambition must live together. Contentment says, I am grateful for what Allah has given me today. Ambition says, I will work responsibly for a better tomorrow. Desperation says, today is unbearable unless I become someone else immediately. That is the voice you need to weaken. One of the signs that your financial struggle is becoming less powerful over you is that you can finally think again. You can sleep without making reckless decisions at 2 in the morning. You can delay a purchase. You can say no to a deal. You can ask for advice. You can admit you do not understand something. You can walk away from manipulation. You can negotiate without feeling that rejection will destroy you. You can accept that building stability may take time. That steadiness is not small. It can be the difference between a temporary problem and a long-term disaster. If Allah gives you calm before He gives you expansion, value the calm, because a calm person can recognize the right door. A desperate person often runs through the first open door without asking where it leads. 6. You begin noticing doors of rizq that do not look like money at first. Many people imagine rizq as cash arriving directly, but rizq is broader than that. An idea can be rizq, a skill can be rizq, a trustworthy friend can be rizq, good health can be rizq, a mentor can be rizq, a customer can be rizq, a useful connection can be rizq, a warning can be rizq, a closed door can be rizq if it protects you from a harmful path. Time can be rizq, energy can be rizq, knowledge can be rizq, a second chance can be rizq, the ability to recognize an opportunity can itself be rizq. Sometimes financial hardship narrows your vision so much that you only look for one form of rescue. You think, I need a large amount of money. Perhaps you do. But while waiting for that amount, you may be ignoring resources Allah has already placed around you. Maybe you have a skill you never took seriously. Maybe someone has been telling you for years that people would pay for something you do well. Maybe you have equipment you can use. Maybe you have time in the evening that you keep wasting. Maybe there is training available to you. Maybe you know a person who could teach you something valuable. Maybe a job you considered beneath you could temporarily stabilize your household while you build towards something better. Maybe an old customer could return if you simply followed up. Maybe your business does not need a new product. It needs better service. Maybe you do not need more customers. You need to stop losing the ones you already have. Maybe your income problem is partly a pricing problem. Maybe your financial problem is not income alone, but poor records, unpaid receivables, waste, or uncontrolled spending. The door of rizq is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like clarity. You finally understand why something was failing. Sometimes it looks like humility. You become willing to ask for help. Sometimes it looks like courage. You finally start the thing you have been postponing. Sometimes it looks like restraint. You stop putting money into something that keeps proving it is not working. Sometimes it looks like a conversation. Someone mentions an opportunity casually, and you realize it fits your abilities. Sometimes it looks like losing something. A job ends, and the pain forces you to build a path you would never have considered while comfortable. Again, do not romanticize hardship. Losing income hurts. Debt hurts. Financial uncertainty can place real pressure on families. But believers are trained to ask a powerful question, even inside difficulty. My Lord, what are you teaching me to see? The Quran repeatedly teaches us that Allah can create a way out and provide from where a person does not expect. The believer therefore refuses to believe that the visible options are the only options. This does not mean expecting money to fall from nowhere. It means refusing to limit Allah's possibilities to your imagination. You may think provision must come through your current employer. Allah may send it through a new skill. You may think it must come through a certain person. Allah may remove that person and send someone better. You may think it must come through one business model. Allah may show you that the model was the problem. You may think financial improvement must mean earning more. Allah may help you restructure debts, reduce costs, recover money owed to you, or remove a recurring burden. Sometimes the greatest door is not an opportunity to earn, it is an opportunity to learn. Another hidden door of Rizq is reputation. A good name built over years can create opportunities that advertising cannot buy. When people know that you answer messages, keep promises, admit mistakes, return what is not yours, arrive when you say you will, and do not disappear when problems arise, they remember you. In a world full of unreliable people, reliability becomes rare and therefore valuable. Do not underestimate this. You may be asking Allah for a new opportunity while your current behavior is quietly closing doors. If people cannot trust your word, if you repeatedly miss deadlines, if you take deposits and become difficult to reach, if you treat small customers badly because you are waiting for large ones, then the issue may not be a lack of opportunity, it may be a lack of readiness. Hardship can force you to see these weaknesses without excuses. That is painful, but useful. A person who accepts correction can grow. A person who blames everyone remains trapped. Ask former clients what could have been better. Ask your employer what skill would make you more valuable. Ask someone experienced to review your work. Feedback may sting your ego, but sometimes the sentence that hurts today becomes the information that increases your income later. Knowledge changes earning power. A person who becomes more valuable in the marketplace often creates more options for themselves. What can you learn that solves a real problem for other people? What skill can you become excellent at? What service do people already pay for? What can you do more reliably, quickly, clearly, or ethically than others? Do not chase every trend, but do not hide behind the sentence, "I have no opportunities," if you have not seriously examined your abilities and environment. Sometimes the problem is not the absence of doors, it is that pride makes the doors look too small. You want a big business, but Allah gives you one customer. You want a prestigious role, but Allah gives you temporary work. You want a large investment, but Allah gives you enough to begin small. You want instant recognition, but Allah gives you a season of learning in private. Do not despise these beginnings. Many stable things begin quietly. If your financial struggle is making you more observant, more teachable, more humble, and more willing to recognize non-obvious forms of provision, that is a meaningful shift. Because once you stop demanding that rizq arrive in one specific shape, you can finally notice the doors that were invisible to you before. 7. You start wanting Allah more than you want the money. This is the deepest lesson, and it may be the hardest one to hear when you are under financial pressure, when bills are due, when debts are heavy, when your family needs something, when your income is uncertain. It is natural to want relief. Islam does not ask you to pretend material needs do not matter. They matter. Providing for your family is important. Paying debts is important. Having stability is valuable. Asking Allah for wealth that is halal and beneficial is not wrong. But there is a danger hidden inside every long struggle. The problem can become your entire relationship with Allah. You pray because you want money. You make dua because you want the problem solved. You give charity because you hope it will immediately multiply your income. You seek forgiveness only because someone told you it will make you rich. You read Quran looking for a financial formula. You begin treating worship like a transaction. "My Lord, I did this, so where is the money?" That mindset can quietly damage the heart. Allah is not a machine into which you insert worship and receive cash. You worship Allah because He is your Lord. You obey Him in ease and hardship. You make dua because you need Him, not because you control Him. You give charity seeking His pleasure, while hoping for reward and blessing, but you do not dictate the exact form or timing of the reward. You seek forgiveness because you have sins and because you want closeness to Allah, not merely because you want a bigger bank balance. There are Quranic teachings connecting taqwa, istighfar, gratitude, and obedience with provision and blessing. These are real, but they should not be turned into superstition or a guaranteed get-rich formula. Allah gives according to His wisdom. Sometimes the believer receives quickly. Sometimes the answer is delayed. Sometimes Allah gives something different from what was requested. Sometimes He protects the believer from what they thought they wanted. Sometimes He stores a reward for the akhirah. The servant remains a servant in all of these situations. This is where financial hardship can purify your faith. At the beginning you may say, "Allah, I need you to fix this." Later you begin saying, "Allah, even while this is not fixed yet, I still need you." That is a different level. You still ask for relief. You should. But your worship no longer depends on receiving the answer according to your schedule. You pray even when the payment has not arrived. You say Alhamdulillah even when life is tight. You avoid haram even when halal feels slower. You keep your character when you could use hardship as an excuse to become dishonest. You continue giving what you reasonably can, even if it is small. You remember that someone in the world has less than you. You stop speaking about Allah as if He owes you a particular lifestyle. And slowly something changes. Money is still important, but it is no longer your God. Fear is no longer your God. Status is no longer your God. People's approval is no longer your God. Your bank balance is no longer the measure of your worth. You belong to Allah. This realization can free you in a way money alone never can. And when Allah does give you more, remember the person you were when you were asking. Do not become arrogant with the answer to a dua you once cried over. Do not look down on someone who is now where you used to be. Do not make the poor feel invisible. Do not become harsh with a debtor if Allah once gave you time. Do not let abundance erase the humility hardship taught you. A financial test can happen through scarcity, but it can also happen through abundance. When little money enters, the test may be patience. When much money enters, the test may be gratitude, restraint, zakat, generosity, justice, and humility. Some people survive poverty spiritually and then fail the test of wealth. They finally receive what they wanted and allow it to take them away from Allah. So ask not only Allah, give me more. Ask Allah, make me safe for what you give me. Make me someone who uses provision well. Make me generous without showing off. Make me responsible without becoming obsessed. Make me grateful without becoming complacent. Make me successful without becoming arrogant. Because if your heart only feels safe when your account is full, you will always be afraid of losing it. But if your heart knows Allah, then wealth becomes a tool instead of an identity. You can receive without arrogance. You can lose without losing yourself. You can earn without worshipping work. You can save without believing savings control destiny. You can give without believing generosity makes you poor. You can plan without imagining your plan is stronger than qadr. This is the final sign to watch closely. Your hardship is no longer pushing you away from Allah. It is pushing you toward Him. You are becoming more sincere, more disciplined, more honest, more grateful, more careful with halal and haram, more responsible with what you have, more courageous in taking lawful means, less impressed by appearances, less controlled by people, less desperate for shortcuts, more aware that rizq includes much more than money, and more certain that whatever Allah gives you must be used in a way that pleases Him. If these changes are happening, do not dismiss them because your bank balance has not yet caught up. A major transformation may already be underway. Perhaps he is removing habits that would have wasted an increase. Perhaps he is removing habits that would have wasted an increase. Perhaps he is breaking dependence on people before opening a better door. Perhaps he is teaching you to recognize barakah before giving you expansion. Perhaps he is showing you the weakness of shortcuts so you can build something clean. Perhaps he is turning your fear into discipline. Perhaps he is turning your complaint into dua. Perhaps he is turning your desperation into tawakkul. But remember this carefully. Do not build your faith on predictions. Do not say, I saw these 7 signs, therefore money must arrive next week. That is not what these lessons mean. The believer does not claim knowledge of the unseen. Instead say, My Lord, I see that you are changing me. Help me continue. Open for me what is good. Close what is harmful. Give me halal provision. Put barakah in it. Protect me from debt that overwhelms me, wealth that corrupts me, desperation that humiliates me, and greed that makes me forget you. Then keep moving. Make your salah strong. Make sincere dua. Seek forgiveness. Give charity according to your ability. Fulfill people's rights. Repair what is dishonest in your financial life. Learn, work, improve, save when you can. Spend with intelligence. Avoid waste. Avoid haram shortcuts. Ask qualified people when you do not understand something. Do not let pride stop you from starting small. Do not let comparison force you into foolish decisions. Do not let one closed door convince you that Allah has no other doors. And do not let a difficult season make you forget all the ways Allah is already sustaining you. The same Allah who provided for you before this problem existed is your Lord now. The same Allah who brought you through difficulties you once thought would break you can bring you through this one. Your responsibility is not to know exactly when relief will come. Your responsibility is to meet this season as a believer, with tawakkul, not paralysis, with effort, not laziness, with honesty, not shortcuts, with gratitude, not denial, with patience, not passivity, with hope, not fantasy, and with the certainty that no halal effort made for Allah is wasted, even when the result arrives in a form you did not expect. So if your money struggle has made you turn back to Allah, clean your income, control your spending, strengthen your effort, calm your desperation, recognize new doors, and desire Allah's pleasure more than the appearance of wealth, then something very important is happening. Your financial chapter may change suddenly, or it may change gradually. Allah knows the timing, but you are no longer the same person who entered the struggle, and sometimes that is where real relief begins. May Allah provide for you from halal sources, place barakah in what He gives you, protect you from humiliating dependence, help you repay what you owe, guide you toward wise decisions, open doors that are good for your dunya and your akhirah, and make your wealth a means of gratitude rather than a reason for distance from Him. And if the door you are waiting for remains closed a little longer, may Allah give you the strength to keep walking without doubting the one who owns every door.